Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. In this lecture, we will review pronouns. There are some different parts with pronouns. There's pronoun reference, pronoun agreement, and pronoun case. Anytime you see the editing symbol PN, that means you made an error with pronouns. And these are vowels. Again, with vowels, they're very jarring to the reader. They should not be happening in college writing. Have to be really careful with your pronouns. The first is pronoun reference. This happens when it's cloudy, it's not clear. Sometimes we'll have to double down with the noun to make sure we have a clear sentence. For example, Jimbo leaned his chair against the card table and it fell over. Why is that a foul? What fell over? The chair or the card table? We don't know. So whatever it is, we would have to put it. We would have to replace that pronoun with the antecedent. Remember, antecedents, those are the nouns that the pronoun points to. So to fix that, we would have to, whatever fell, we would have to put that noun in. I'm taking chemistry and mathematics, which is a challenge. Right? We can put question marks for both of these. Why? It's unclear. What's a challenge? Is taking chemistry a challenge? Is taking mathematics a challenge? Or is the challenge taking both of them at the same time? We don't know. So whatever it is, you have to put it there. Don't overuse pronouns. When this happens, it's cloudy and you made a foul with pronoun reference. Up next is pronoun agreement. Earlier, we talked about subject-verb agreement. Pronoun agreement is similar, but it goes a little bit deeper. Pronouns have to agree in number. That's what we looked at with subjects and verbs, and in gender, right? So pronouns have gender, so they have to agree with antecedents. Let's take a look. Many people pay a genealogist to research their ancestry. People is plural, and there is plural. So that sentence is A-OK. My uncle paid a genealogist to research his ancestry. So now, uncle, singular, masculine, his, singular, masculine. Right? I know, yeah, that's really easy, Mr. K. I agree. But there's some traps that we can fall into. One of those is collective nouns. An example of a collective noun would be what we have here. Committee. If we have a collective noun being used to show unity, right? Everybody coming together to act as one, then it's singular. The committee unanimously approved its raise. How do we know that we're showing unity? That all those people, right? Because the committee has people acting as one. What do? Unanimously. So we take the singular. However, that the committee did not appreciate blank names appearing in the paper. So here we have the same, but now, what do we see? Being used to show the parts, not the whole. How do we know that we're showing the parts, not the whole? names. That's plural. So now the committee did not appreciate their names appearing in the paper. The next one, compound antecedents. If you remember this, if it's joined by and, plural, if we have or nor, whatever is nearest determines agreement. My father encouraged Henry and David, so that's plural, to postpone their trip. Neither the dog nor, remember this trick? The cats had touched their food. Let's take the same sentence, Mr. Can, flip it. Neither the cats nor, so the dog had touched its food. Whoop, its cost. It should say its food. Yeah. Okay. Those indefinite pronouns again, these are trouble. So I put a little screen beam here, scratching his little bald head as he's waiting for this bomb to go off. Okay, we have to be certain that we identify which ones are singular. Remember the little clues? Here we go. Almost everyone eats some fruit as part of, boom. So we have to change this to be what? Singular. His or her diet. No one in line for a ticket refund was happy with one, singular, so we have to get singular again. His or her repayment. Nice. Different is pronoun case. This is different than pronoun reference and pronoun agreement. Case refers to the different types of pronouns that we use depending upon how it's used in the sentence. And they're thinking, whatever. There's the three different cases. It'll become clear in a second. Just give me one more second. Okay, maybe like a minute. So we have subject case, object case, and possessive case pronouns. By the subject case, these are the pronouns used as subjects. So we could come up with an example sentence. Okay, so like blank went home. All right, we have the sentence set up. So whatever we put in the blank is going to be the subject. So you could start off talking about yourself. I went home, put it into a group, make it plural. We, if you're talking to somebody, you, if you're talking to a boy, a girl, an animal, a group, or if you were to ask a question, you would say, who? So I, we, you, he, she, it, they, who. These are the subject pronouns because they're being used as subjects. Subjects are different than objects. An object receives the action of the verb. It's very different from doing the verb to receiving it. For example, my brother hit blank. Now, here we have our verb. Here we have the subject. So this pronoun is receiving the action of the verb. So it will be object. What's going to happen? You're going to see some changes. You wouldn't say my brother hit I, but my brother hit me. You wouldn't say my brother hit we, but my brother hit us. The cool thing about you is it stays the same. But what about these? What's going to happen here? My brother hit him. My brother hit her. It stays the same. They becomes them. And if we ask a question, whom did my brother hit? Yeah, so we see some changes when we go from subject to object. And again, object case pronouns receive action of the verb. The most common error that people make here and here is this: please, please never ever begin a sentence with me. It's impossible to have a grammatically correct sentence that begins with the word me. Cannot happen. Right? Exactly right. Because you're setting it up entirely different. Never begin a sentence with me. Now, the possessive case pronouns, these are used to show ownership. Okay. So we could come up with some little things like the book is blank, and flip it around. It is blank book. So what's going to happen? We're going to see some changes again. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about pronoun case. It's the changes in pronoun form. So what's going to happen? You wouldn't say the book is I. You would say the book is mine. It is, I'm sorry, it is my book, right? Make it plural. The book is ours. It is our book. The book is yours. It is your book. The book is his. It is his book. The book is hers. It is her book. Let's see if you have a dog that can read. The book is its. It is its book, plural. The book is theirs. It is their book. And if you wanted to ask a question, you would say whose. Notice no apostrophe is used with possessive pronouns. We use the apostrophe S with possessive nouns. So don't put apostrophe S on any of those pronouns. It's wrong. Okay, some common case problems. The first involves compound constructions. This is when we have a pronoun used with a noun. And what happens is that our attention is drawn to the noun, and sometimes we might make an error with pronouns. So here's a tip. We're going to cover the noun so we can focus on the pronoun. Oh, what do I have here? It's impossible for me to pick me. Why? I have a start of a sentence. So my mother and I have a good relationship. Our parents always rewarded blank children for good grades. Cover it up. Our parents always reward, yeah, us. What? We? Us, yeah. Rewarded us children. So when we cover up those nouns, it makes the pronoun choice easier. What often happens when we make a comparison is we omit words, and that might lead us into a pronoun foul. So here's a tip. Add those words back in. For example, my cousin is taller than blank. My cousin is taller than blank blank. My cousin is taller than I am. So my cousin is taller than I. Now, if you're saying that sounds funny, guess what, guys? It's correct. If you don't like having my cousin is taller than I, then leave the words in that you're omitting. Sarah likes Jimbo more than what? What words did we omit? Sarah likes Jimbo more than blank blank. I do. I know. If you're saying, I don't like how that sounds, then leave those words in there. Don't cut those words. All right. The next one deals with linking verbs. The new quarterback will be blank. I expected the caller to be Dr. Roberts, but it was not blank. So what can happen here for the pattern here is we could have a noun or a pronoun, right? Then we have a verb, and we have a pronoun. When we see this happen, we have a linking verb. If we see this structure, we have to pick the subject pronoun. The new quarterback will be he. I expected the caller to be Dr. Roberts, but it was not he. I know you're saying, that sounds funny, give me a tip, man. So here's the tip. If the sentence is grammatically correct, you should be able to read it backwards. He will be the new quarterback. He was not the caller. Yeah, I know. This is one of the things about living in the South. When we encounter proper grammar, we say to ourselves, that's wrong. But it's right. I know. Oftentimes, when you spend your whole life doing something wrong, and then somebody comes up and says, that's wrong, you say, no, it's not. I've been doing it my whole life. Boom, I'll just put that out there. I'm going to walk away. Now, what happens with a gerund? This is when we take a verb, we add ing to the end of it, but we're going to use it as a noun. And when this happens, we have to take the possessive case pronoun. Blank kicking the field goal won the game. Now, it's not him kicking the field goal. What do we see here? Kicking. That's a gerund. It's being used as a noun, right? So it has to be the possessive. His kicking the field goal. Same thing here. Sharon disapproved of blank entering the sales field. My. Why? Because these are nouns. And what do we need to do? We need to show ownership. And then what do we use to show ownership? Possessive case pronouns. Yeah. Okay. Who and whom? This is a common stumbling block for a lot of writers today. simply because nobody says whom. So everything falls to who, but we can't let this happen. Remember the different cases that we see this used. And this is going to let us know. Who is a subject case pronoun? Subject is going to do the verb. An object case pronoun, object receives the verb. Now, this is the all-time classic helper. Anytime you're puzzled like this screen being, right? Substitute a personal pronoun in the place, and the case of the substitute pronoun determines whether it's who or whom. And it's faced with the question, you want to answer it. So here's what we're going to do. Here is the woman, blank can explain eclipses. Okay? So I have compound construction. I'm going to cover up. Okay? Now, I'm going to substitute. Can I say her can explain eclipses? No. Can I say she can explain eclipses? Yes. So she is a subject pronoun, so I would say who. The awards will be presented to blank the council nominates. So here we have an award on my favorite coffee cup, right? Oh, thank you. What happened? I received that. I received it. So that means it's an object. We can substitute. The awards we presented to him. You wouldn't say the awards we presented to he. No. Okay. Blank is coming to the party. Answer that question. He is. Who is coming to the party? Blank are you expecting at the party? I am expecting her. Object. Whom? Now, sometimes we can have a legal tie. And when this happens, we must pick who. We trust the advice of friends, blank we know can be impartial, right? They can be impartial. We trust them. Do you see how the sentence, the way this is structured? We dropped it into the middle, and we see that we can substitute both. So we pick who. Here are the books for them. He needs them, right? Here are the books for him. He needs them. What do we have? A tie. Exactly. I always tell people, if you're working with who and whom, and you're puzzled, you're like, oh, is this? It could be either one. Then you have a tie, and then you have to pick who. Wow. So again, pronoun vowels, reference, agreement, case. Awesome. So, and till we see each other again, be well, do good work, and keep in touch.